I want to end on this. We were talking about my son earlier, and it can be a very challenging thing to have a special needs kid. And my son is high functioning, so if you have a kid who has even more challenges, I just want to hug you after the show and tell you that you're so brave and so patient and so amazing. But it can be really challenging, and when my son was little, I used to worry about him a lot, and I used to be very scared for him because there's a bit of a mourning process you go through when your child is first diagnosed with autism. You kind of have to learn to love the child that you have and let go of this idea of the child that you thought you wanted, which if you don't have kids is true whether your child is special needs or not, because they are all cunts. They're just all, they are. When you're pregnant, you have all these ideas that you guys are gonna learn to read. I was gonna say, I'm gonna try that again, because I was saying learn to read together. Like I didn't know how to read when I was pregnant, which is not far off, guys. Salmon again. So when you're pregnant, you have all these big ideas, that you're gonna read them Tolstoy, and you're gonna take them to the park, and instead they puke in your bra and take a shit in your couch and hide it, and you love them anyway, and you just think they're amazing. And that was true with my son. And I used to worry, like, what will happen to him when he moves out of my house? Like when he grows up and he's out in the world, like who will take care of my brilliant, wonderful little weirdo out there? And something happened, and I thought I'd share it with you because I feel like it's a pretty uplifting story. A few years ago, when my son was younger, he was up in the shower, and I was down in the kitchen, and he came down the stairs very excited, dripping wet, no towel, just fully nude, comes in, and is like, "I'm got a lot of big ideas for the Mars Rover program." Just totally naked. And as he was telling me these brilliant ideas, I realized in that moment that my son has the biggest dick I've ever seen in my life. And I don't want you to get worried, like, oh, maybe Emma hasn't seen a bunch of big dicks, like #blessed, like the kids are saying. I know my business, and this thing was a real monster. It looked shocking on a child's body. It was like Lancer. Like, he came in and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, wow. Maybe here's a tea towel. Maybe hang that lengthwise. Why don't you run upstairs? Try not to trip on that. And as my son was going up the stairs, I realized that he's going to be just fine. Yeah. Somebody's going to take care of him, Between NASA and that hog, my son is living the dream. There's not a person in this room who's going to have a better life than my big-dicked autistic kid. So, just how it is. That's how it is, guys. Sometimes it's really special to me to get to talk about my son, and that's why the name of my album is Shut Up, Calvin. I let him name it, so there you go. But it's really special to get to talk about my son because a lot of times the parents of autistic kids or special needs kids will come up to me after our shows and be like, oh my God, my son is also, autistic, or my daughter. Or sometimes special ed teachers will come and be like, oh my God, it was so great to hear the story of what we deal with. And that's really special to me. But even more special than that is how often autistic men come up to me after shows and say, I also have a huge penis. It's a real monster. Would you like to see it? And you know what, Boise? I always would. Thank you guys so much. Shit, you've been amazing. Thank you.